Curtis and I are going to read another type of genre. It's related to haiku. It includes haiku, and it started as something Dave mentioned with kaza, with rengay, with basho. The form started with him, and he would write long sequences. It was more like a parlor game. People would he would be the famous poet coming into town, and they would hire him to lead a poetry session. And what he'd do would write a haiku, a hoku at that time is what they called it, a 3-line poem. It would be the starting verse. Usually it would set the mood for the rest of the poems. It would all be linked to it. And there were very specific rules you had to follow, like you'd mention the moon every so often. You couldn't mention love, but once, I think, wasn't it?
There are a set of rules.
They're very convoluted. And some Japanese experts in this genre visited California back in the 90s and led a session on how to write these poems to some of the haiku poets who live in California. They have a group also, and the haiku poets of Northern California. And Gary Gay was in that group, and during a break in the sessions, he was just beating his head against the wall saying, this is just too difficult for us Americans to write. Our attention spans are too limited. We just can't do it. I'm going to come up with another genre. And so he did. And it became very, very popular among American poets and others who don't want to master the rules of kaza no renga. And it's called rengay after Gary Gay. He's not gay. It's okay. He is gay, and that's his name. But this is one that Curtis and I wrote, and it was published in a journal based in California by Janet Reichold, who's related to Basho in a way. She just translated all of Basho's poems, and it's available through what's the publisher? It's a famous Japanese publishing house. Kodansha International. And she's also written a play about Basho, and it's a dramatization of Basho and his traveling companion Sora as they make a trip. And it's available on the web. Just go to AHA Poetry, AHA Poetry. It's a website, and they have a lot of information on poetry and how to write haiku. And they have her play, and I'm sure links to the translations.
Let me just say that a rengay, you try to take a theme and go with it. Right. Sometimes you can have multiple themes.
It's sort of like a traffic accident report. You have one moment, and you get different eyewitness accounts of the same moment. So you've got a traffic accident, and you've got different witnesses all giving the same perspective, and that's what this is.
So see if you can kind of pick up on what the theme is here.
It's called A Cup of Cold Water. Seeds sown in a backyard washout, deaf to reason.
A flooded cemetery, raising the dead.
Pods for swine. A prodigal son, eyes black clouds.
Thunder, a hobo shouting, repent, repent.
Bread cast upon waters and boats swamped by waves.
A rainbow spanning the hurricane's eye. Sirens fill the streets.
Thank you.